telling you, man, it was one of the most brutal crashes I've ever seen.
Big Chief's garage has vehicles that will make you go crazy with excitement. The garage has Big Chief's 1972 Pontiac LeMans, named the Crow, Murder Nova's 1967 Chevy Nova, a 1969 Pontiac GTO, and so on. But also, in that garage is something else, something horrifying. And that thing destroyed Big Chief. What is it? Inside the garage where legends are built. Walk into Midwest Street Cars, Big Chief's and Murder Nova's car company on any given Tuesday, and you'll find organized chaos. There's a twin-turbo monster getting its final dyno tune in Bay 3, someone fabricating exhaust headers in the corner, and parked right in the center, demanding attention like it owns the place, sits a flat black 1972 Pontiac LeMans that changed everything. They call it the Crow. Big Chief bought this machine when he was just 16 years old. $500, that's all it cost him back then. It was his daily driver, his grocery getter, his ticket to school. But Big Chief didn't see a tired old Pontiac when he looked at that car. He saw potential. Fast forward to today, and the Crow has become something else entirely. We're talking about a twin-turbo 482 cubic-inch Pontiac 5.8 that screams out over 1,000 horsepower. The turbos alone, Precision 8891S, push between 46 and 52 pounds of boost. To put that in perspective, your average car runs about 14 pounds per square inch of boost if it's turbocharged at all. This thing is on a different planet. The modifications read like a performance junkie's fever dream. Inside that engine block, you'll find off-the-shelf parts meticulously assembled. An IA2 block, Crower crankshaft, GRP connecting rods, Ross pistons, Edelbrock heads. The transmission is a built Rossler TH400 that can handle the punishment. Behind that sits a PST carbon fiber drive shaft connecting to a strange 9-inch rear end with aerospace brakes stopping all that fury. They even swapped the front clip and doors to fiberglass. Every ounce matters when you're chasing sub-8-second quarter miles. But the Crow isn't alone in that garage. Right next to it, you'll often find Murder Nova's 1967 Chevy Nova. Co-owner Sean Murder Nova Ellington built this small block beast to eclipse 1,200 horsepower, and it's held the #1 spot on Oklahoma City's infamous street racing list multiple times. The car switches between supercharged and turbo setups depending on the season and the race format. Recent modifications in 2025 involved swapping to massive street tires for better traction off the line, all fabricated in-house at Midwest Street Cars. Then there's what fans call the Gold Car. This custom street and strip build isn't as famous as the Crow, but it's a workhorse. Metallic gold paint, big block V8, nitrous assisted for those quick burst races where you need instant power. This is the kind of car the shop uses to teach lessons, to test theories, to loan out to racers trying to climb the list. The garage houses about 5 to 10 cars in various states of completion at any given time. There's the shop truck, a rugged daily hauler that's been featured in social media posts doing donuts in parking lots. There are client builds, turbocharged GTOs echoing the Crow's Pontiac heritage, NHRA prepped dragsters for sanctioned racing, and even electric vehicle conversions, because Big Chief knows the automotive world is shifting. Big Chief keeps a 1969 Pontiac GTO in rotation for turbo experiments. His sons Corbin and Koval have their own mini projects scattered around, go-karts and small builds that teach them the craft. This isn't a museum, it is a working shop where dreams get turbocharged. However, there's also something else in that garage, something else. Midwest Street Cars opened its doors in the early 2000s after Justin Shearer and Sean Ellington's online racing videos started going viral. What began as a modest speed shop has evolved into a full-service performance automotive center. They offer dyno tuning at around $450 per session, custom fabrication work, engine swaps, full restorations, and even sell parts and merchandise. The YouTube channel associated with the shop pulls in hundreds of thousands of views with behind-the-scenes content. Tuning sessions, race prep, epic failures captured on camera. It's described as a sanctuary for high-performance vehicles. The facility spans multiple bays, each one equipped to handle everything from basic maintenance to complete ground-up builds. The vibe is family-oriented. You'll see Shearer's kids helping with builds, Street Outlaws alumni dropping by to bench race and talk shop. But here's where things get interesting. In September 2015, someone fired multiple rounds at Midwest Street Cars HQ. Bullets shattered windows, punched through doors, and buried themselves in office walls. Fortunately, nobody was inside when it happened. The motives remain unclear. Big Chief and Murder Nova offered a $5,000 reward for information leading to an arrest. The shop survived. It always does, because here's what you need to understand about Big Chief. He doesn't just build fast cars. He builds resilience into everything he touches. But resilience can only carry you so far when your personal life starts crumbling under the weight of fame, the unforgiving scrutiny of reality television, and the horrifying thing in your garage. When business meets heartbreak. Let's rewind to 2006, the year Big Chief married Alicia, a respiratory therapist he'd been dating since he was 18 and working at a gas station. They have 2 sons together, Corbin born around 2006 and Koval arriving roughly 4 years later. Family footage from early Street Outlaws seasons shows them trackside, cheering, celebrating wins, weathering losses together. It looked picture perfect. But by 2017, after 11 years of marriage, it all fell apart. The divorce hit the tabloids hard. Rumors swirled immediately about infidelity on Big Chief's part. The internet did what the internet does best. It picked sides, dug for evidence, and amplified speculation until fact and fiction became indistinguishable. Here's what we know for certain. Big Chief has never publicly confirmed any allegations of cheating. When asked about the split in interviews, he keeps it vague, emphasizing that they maintain an amicable co-parenting relationship for their son's sake. He's called his kids his biggest fans and proudest supporters. But the damage was done. Public perception matters when you're a reality TV star whose brand depends on authenticity and relatability. Street Outlaws fans invest emotionally in these racers. They watch them win, lose, crash, recover, celebrate. When personal drama enters the picture, especially drama involving potential infidelity, it creates fractures. Some fans stood by Big Chief. Others questioned his character. The controversy destroyed his public image at a time when Street Outlaws was entering its peak popularity phase. The show had multiple spin-offs in development. No Prep Kings events were drawing massive crowds. This wasn't the moment for personal scandals. And here's where it gets complicated. Running a business like Midwest Street Cars requires focus, capital, and constant hustle. You're juggling client builds, managing employees, dealing with suppliers, filming for television, racing competitively, and somehow finding time to be present for your kids. Add a divorce into that equation, everything suffers. Big Chief has admitted in interviews that he struggled with being what he called a careless father because racing consumed so much of his time and energy. The guilt weighs on him. He talks about missing important moments, prioritizing the next race over family dinners, choosing wrenches over bedtime stories. This is connected to that horrifying thing in his garage, but we'll reveal that later in this video. That said, the business felt the strain too. There were rumors in 2021 about potential splits between Big Chief and Murder Nova, speculation that Midwest Street Cars might dissolve due to partnership tensions. Those rumors turned out to be false. They're still co-owners and collaborators as of 2025, but the fact that people believed them speaks to the instability surrounding that period. Post-divorce, Big Chief kept his romantic life locked down tight. Unconfirmed reports from 2023 and 2024 suggested he might be in a new relationship, but nothing concrete ever surfaced. As of late 2025, he identifies as single, focused on his sons and his racing. But personal drama wasn't the only controversy threatening to derail everything he'd built. Because while Big Chief was dealing with divorce fallout and business pressures, an entirely different question was bubbling up from the fan base, one that struck at the very foundation of his credibility. Is Street Outlaws even real? The controversy nobody wants to talk about. Let's address the elephant in the garage. Street Outlaws premiered on Discovery Channel in 2013 and became a big hit. The premise was simple. Follow Oklahoma City's underground street racing scene as drivers compete for spots on the list, an informal ranking of the fastest racers in the 405 area code. High stakes, illegal racing, real danger. Or was it? Critics and skeptical fans have spent years dissecting episodes, looking for inconsistencies, questioning whether races are predetermined, whether the drama is scripted, whether any of it can be trusted. Some point to the fact that many races are filmed on closed courses with production crews present. They argue that's not street racing, that's controlled filming with manufactured tension. Others note how conveniently cameras capture every dramatic moment. Trash talk, mechanical failures, photo finishes. The accusations intensified over the years. Online forums filled with frame-by-frame analyses of races, theories about predetermined outcomes, claims from former participants suggesting producers influence results. Big Chief has consistently pushed back against these allegations. In multiple interviews, he's defended the show's authenticity. He argues that yes, races are filmed with safety measures in place, but the competition is real, the speeds are real, the money on the line is real. When he lines up against Daddy Dave or Murder Nova or any other racer, there's no script telling him who wins. "We're not actors," he said in one interview. "We're racers who happen to be on TV." He points out that street racing has always been about grudge matches, bragging rights, and respect. The television cameras don't change the fundamental nature of that competition. If anything, they raise the stakes because now your reputation isn't just local, it's national. But here's where the argument gets weird. Because even if the racing itself is legitimate, there's no denying that reality television thrives on drama. Producers need storylines, they need conflict, they need narratives that build across episodes and seasons. So even if the races aren't scripted the way they're presented, the editing choices, the storylines built around personal feuds and comebacks, those elements are absolutely shaped for entertainment. But sometimes the danger isn't manufactured at all. On a day that should have been routine filming in 2015, Big Chief learned exactly how real the consequences can be when you're pushing machines to their absolute limits. He was racing the Crow, likely pushing for a competitive time, when something went catastrophically wrong. On the night of November 14, 2015, outside Southard, Oklahoma, Big Chief lined up against Brian "Chucky" Davis for a filmed Cash Days race that would decide movement on the top 10 list. Big Chief was driving the Crow, and Chucky drove his nitrous-fed 1993 Mustang. They were running on a closed county road, cameras rolling for Season 7 of Street Outlaws. Big Chief got the jump off the light. Halfway down the track, around the 1/8 mile mark, Chucky started closing fast. As the Mustang pulled even, it got violently loose. The left rear quarter panel of Chucky's car clipped the right rear tire of the Crow at approximately 190 miles per hour. The contact sent the Crow sideways. It dug in, lifted, and began a series of brutal barrel rolls and end-over-end flips. The roof smashed into the asphalt repeatedly. The car finally came to rest upside down in a ditch, completely destroyed. Everyone feared the worst as they rushed towards Big Chief. He was conscious inside the wrecked car, but there was a problem. He couldn't feel his legs. The crew cut the belts and pulled him out through the window. He was airlifted to OU Medical Center in Oklahoma City, and the diagnosis? Devastating. Big Chief had fractured his left collarbone and his L2 and L3 vertebrae in his lower back. That wasn't all. Big Chief had pulmonary contusions, multiple lacerations. It was a miracle that he was alive, and not only that, doctors told him he came within a millimeter of permanent paralysis. The only thing that kept him alive was the roll cage built by Don Dial. Still, these aren't injuries you walk away from easily. Big Chief was in a world of pain he had never been in before. For a while, there would be limits to his mobility, and he would require months of recovery. There was one part that was scary at the time. There was the possibility of Big Chief, whether he would ever sit in a race car again. But Big Chief was a fighter and a resilient guy. He spent 5 days in the hospital and walked out wearing a back brace. 3 weeks later, he appeared at the PRI show in Indianapolis, still in visible pain, but upright. The crash became a turning point. Big Chief later reflected on it as a wake-up call, a moment that forced him to reconsider how he approached builds and safety. He became an outspoken advocate for better cages, stronger chassis, and safety gears across the street outlaws racing scene. He learned the hard way that you can have all the horsepower in the world, but if the chassis isn't right, if the safety equipment isn't dialed in, if you cut one corner too many, physics doesn't care about your reputation. However, Big Chief wasn't done with racing. So by March 2016, he was on his feet, testing the new car, a purpose-built '69 Firebird Pro Mod on a Jerry Bickle chassis that the world would come to know as Crow Mod. The original Crow was dead, totaled beyond repair. Big Chief has called November 14th his second birthday ever since. He still says the sound of that roof caving in plays in his head every single time he straps into a race car, and every safety decision he has made at Midwest street cars since that night has been shaped by those 4.5 seconds of pure terror. But here's the thing about street outlaws. Big Chief wasn't the first to get hurt, and he won't be the last. Street Outlaws has seen its share of serious accidents over the years. Multiple cast members have experienced crashes during filming or at sanctioned events tied to the show. The physics involved when you're accelerating from 0 to over 150 miles per hour in less than 10 seconds are unforgiving. Traction loss, mechanical failure, driver error, they all lead to the same outcome: twisted metal, broken bodies, and worse. Fans, cast, and crew members will forever remember what happened to Ryan Fellows and Callie Nate. Ryan Fellows was a driver on Street Outlaws, fastest in America, and on the night of August 7, 2022, he competed in what was reportedly the 8th of 9 races planned for that filming session. The competition promised a large payout of $100,000, but the competition also carried immense risk because the conditions were more volatile. But it didn't look like contestants cared about the risk. That night, Ryan took the wheel of his signature gold Nissan 240Z, and as he passed the finish line, something went catastrophically wrong. His car lost control, rolled over, and erupted into flames. Onlookers, fellow racers, and crew attempted to rescue him. They got to him, but there was a problem. They couldn't pull him out. The fire continued to rage, and thick smoke surrounded the area. Ryan breathed in that smoke. Still, they couldn't pull him out as the fire licked his skin. Eventually, they watched him stay in that vehicle, battling to survive on his own. Unfortunately, by the time emergency crews arrived, it was too late. Ryan was dead. The damage was irreversible. This was the kind of situation Big Chief was trying to avoid. Street Outlaws' response was swift and somber. A GoFundMe page was launched for his survivors, his wife Liz and his children Josiah and Olivia, the people Ryan claimed he was racing for. The crash drew immediate scrutiny, not just as a tragedy, but as a failure of oversight. Nevada Occupational Safety and Health Administration investigated the race site hazard, and that site shouldn't have been used. It was far from professional standards, yet the producers of the show still let them race on it. They didn't even care that before Ryan crashed, other people had also crashed on that same road. Ryan's family sued. They detailed the numerous crashes, and also mentioned one thing. The producers changed the racing site to a better one. So they could have done this, but chose to sacrifice Ryan's life for something completely unavoidable. For many fans and industry insiders, the tragedy showed a fundamental tension. The show packages underground street-style racing for television, but in doing so, it amplifies danger by racing in marginal conditions with limited official safety infrastructure. For the cast, crew, and broader racing community, the emotional impact was heavy. The sense that every subsequent race could carry a hidden danger unseen until it's too late shook faith in what these televised street races represented. Some critics argue this proves the show glorifies dangerous illegal activity. They point to young fans who might be inspired to try street racing themselves without understanding the years of experience, the meticulous preparation, the respect for the craft that professionals like Big Chief bring to the table. Big Chief counters that the show promotes skill over recklessness. He emphasizes the importance of knowing your car, respecting your limits, and building relationships with other racers who can teach you. He's been vocal about the difference between calculated risk and stupidity. But does the show really promote skill over recklessness? Big Chief is an example that may not always be the case, and so is Ryan. He lost his life in an incident that could have been avoided. Has Big Chief forgotten about that? He is still dealing with the consequences of his accident. That recovery process from his 2015 crash was brutal. Physical therapy focused on rebuilding core strength, restoring mobility, managing chronic pain. Back injuries don't heal cleanly. Even years later, Big Chief deals with persistent issues from those crushed vertebrae. He's mentioned in recent interviews that rigorous training has helped, but there's an acceptance that this is part of the cost. Big Chief is lucky he returned to racing stronger than before, at least mentally. The crash didn't break his spirit. If anything, it reinforced his commitment. He'd spent his entire life working toward this, and one accident wasn't going to erase decades of passion. But the controversy never really went away. It just shifted, evolved, adapted to new seasons and new accusations. And through it all, Big Chief kept doing what he's always done: racing, building, pushing forward. Which brings us to the question everyone eventually asks: who is this guy really? Where did he come from? And how did a kid from Louisville, Kentucky end up becoming the face of underground street racing in America? The road that led to the Crow. Big Chief was born on December 9, 1980 in Louisville, Kentucky. His father died when he was young, leaving his mother to raise him and his younger brother alone. Money was tight. Stability was hard to come by. But his mother provided something invaluable. She encouraged them to chase dreams, even when those dreams seemed impractical or dangerous. Then, at 9 years old, Justin discovered street racing. He'd pedal his bicycle for miles along Old Route 66 just to watch races. The roar of engines, the smell of burning rubber, the electric tension right before two cars launched, it captivated him completely. This wasn't NASCAR on television. This was raw, illegal, right there on public roads where anything could happen. Most kids that age are into video games or sports. Justin Shearer was calculating quarter-mile times in his head. When he turned 12, his family relocated to Oklahoma City. This turned out to be the most important move of his life because Oklahoma City had the 405, a thriving underground street racing culture that would eventually become legendary. Coming from modest financial circumstances shaped how Justin approached racing. He couldn't afford trailers to haul cars to sanctioned drag strips. He couldn't pay entry fees and track rental. So he funneled every dollar into car parts and competed on the streets. "It's just drag racing in a different place," he explained in one interview. His mother supported this unconventional path. She didn't discourage the late nights or the dangerous hobby. They told him to chase it, to see how far he could go. That kind of parental support for street racing is rare. Most families would shut it down immediately. The Shearers leaned in. By the early 2000s, Justin was deep into Oklahoma City's grudge racing scene. He was building relationships with other racers, learning from veterans, making mistakes, winning some and losing more. Street racing at that level is a meritocracy. Your reputation is earned through performance, consistency, and respect. The breakthrough came when he got his hands on that 1972 Pontiac LeMans at age 16. $500. It needed everything: engine work, suspension, brakes, interior. But Justin saw potential where others saw junk. He drove it daily while slowly transforming it into a race car. Modifications happened gradually as money allowed. First the engine, then the transmission, then the suspension. By the mid-2000s, the Crow was competitive enough to earn him a spot on the 405 list. In 2006, Justin co-founded the Oklahoma Guys Racing Collective with several other local racers. They started filming their races and posting videos online. This was before YouTube dominance, before social media made everyone a content creator. They were just racers documenting their passion. Those videos went viral. People outside Oklahoma City, people who had never heard of the 405, were suddenly invested in these street racers and their stories. Discovery Channel producers took notice. By 2013, Street Outlaws premiered, and Justin "Big Chief" Shearer became the face of the show. Then he grew from a racer to become a race master. Was this because of his 2015 accident? His role as race master meant he managed challenges for the top 10 list. He organized races, settled disputes, and maintained the competitive integrity of the scene. It was part referee, part promoter, part competitor. He still raced the Crow, still chased wins, but he also carried responsibility for the larger community. The nickname Big Chief reflects that leadership role. He's not just a fast driver, he's someone other racers respect, someone who holds the culture together. By 2016, Big Chief briefly dipped into sanctioned NHRA drag racing, competing in official events against professionals, but his heart remained with street racing. The raw format, the underground culture, the history, it all mattered more to him than trophies and official records. Street Outlaws exploded in popularity through the 2010s. Multiple spin-offs launched: No Prep Kings, Memphis, New Orleans, others. The franchise grossed millions in viewership. Big Chief's charisma and authenticity made him the anchor. Episodes featured his shop banter, family cameos, and rivalries that felt genuine because they were. His ongoing relationship with Murder Nova, starting as rivals and evolving into friendship, became a fan-favorite storyline. These weren't actors reading lines. These were real people with real history. As of 2025, Big Chief is 44 years old. His estimated net worth sits around $2 million, derived from racing winnings, television appearances, business ventures through Midwest Street Cars, merchandise sales, sponsorships, and his YouTube channel. He's entering what he calls a resurgence phase. After a quieter 2024 focused on recovery and family time, he's ramped up racing appearances in 2025. No Prep Kings events have seen the Crow hitting personal best times. Business at Midwest Street Cars is booming with expansions into electric vehicle modifications, acknowledging that automotive culture is evolving. His social media presence remains active and he has a loyal following. His Instagram shows build teasers and family moments. On X, formerly Twitter, he has over 67,000 followers, though posting has been sporadic with the last major updates in early 2024. But him not posting on X doesn't mean he has been up to anything. In November 2025, he did an interview revealing his optimism about future projects. He teased bigger streaming deals, potential returns to NHRA-sanctioned racing, and hinted at spin-off shows focused on daily life at the shop. "The stars are aligning," he said. "There's speculation among fans about a memoir or docuseries diving deeper into his journey." But true to form, Big Chief keeps it street level. He's not chasing Hollywood fame or mainstream celebrity. He's chasing the next build, the next race, the next quarter-mile time that proves the Crow still has something left to say. His legacy isn't just about speed or television ratings, it's about taking an underground culture and bringing it to mainstream awareness without diluting what made it special in the first place. He's inspired a new generation of racers, shown them that passion and persistence can build something real. From a 9-year-old kid pedaling his bike to watch illegal races to a 44-year-old businessman and television personality, Big Chief embodies street racing's evolution. The crashes, the controversies, the personal struggles, they're all part of the story. They don't diminish his impact. If anything, they make it more authentic. Because at the end of the day, Big Chief isn't selling perfection, he's selling the truth, and the truth is messy, dangerous, exhilarating, and absolutely worth it. This brings us to the horrifying thing in his garage. What if we told you that the same thing that brings Big Chief joy, fame, and fans is the same thing in his garage? Big Chief's cars are his major problems. He is so obsessed with them that they have made him pay less attention to his own children. Even Big Chief has admitted this, as you have seen in this video. So the same cars that have given him everything have also made him lose a lot. He has lost some of his vitality because of his accident, and he has also missed out on some periods in his sons' lives. The road ahead. So where does this leave us? Big Chief continues racing. The Crow continues evolving. Midwest Street Cars continues building machines that push boundaries. Street Outlaws, now over 20 seasons deep with multiple spin-offs, continues dominating the automotive television landscape. The controversies haven't disappeared. People still question whether the show is scripted. Critics still argue it glorifies illegal activity. Fans still debate whether Big Chief's greatest races are behind him or still to come. But here's what matters. Big Chief took a $500 Pontiac and turned it into a cultural icon. He took a local street racing scene and helped transform it into a television phenomenon. He survived crashes, divorce, business challenges, and public scrutiny. And he's still here, still building, still racing. Now hit that subscribe button, because we've got more stories about the people behind the machines, the crashes nobody saw coming, and the empires built 1/4 mile at a time. Drop a comment telling us who you want us to cover next. The streets are calling.